Back with we're back with Adrian Beedle of Adrian Beedle Consulting. Adrian, good afternoon and welcome to CWS as it is.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Adrian, could you start by telling us a little bit about who you are and why you got into business?
Well, I'm I would say I classify myself as a lover of all things digital. So, my passion for digital marketing really got started in my first experience really with I would say Facebook. I was always interested in all of these online channels from High Five to MySpace and such, but Facebook, I think, really got it started for me in terms of going on there, seeing how persons could network and meet with each other. And from there, you could take it to another step where it's whether it is to meet up, whether it is to get in contact with a person or such. So from there, I started to learn more about not just what about Facebook was in itself in regards to meeting and finding friends, but also how could this tool be used to network and even get persons who are doing business to reach new persons, gather new customers, and even reach existing persons and put out their product and get somewhat of a feedback from them. And it's really through this that I really started to get more deeper in what Facebook was doing. And as it evolved over time, I learned a lot more and saw where it was beneficial in terms of using this tool to not just network as the ordinary person would do, but finding out the deep basis of it as it grew to see how best can it fit in the business world. And it's from there I really use Facebook to start off to say, this is a tool that I am passionate and I love this tool and the whole digital marketing. And this is where it really got me started in entrepreneurship.
How long ago you started this?
Well, I started initially just doing some networking in about 2009, but I got really started about 2011, where from there I started a business with a partner of mine called Social Media Jamaica. And through Social Media Jamaica, we got started as one of the first core companies to get out there and market social media management to companies and brands across Jamaica. And through this experience, we got to meet a lot of business owners, a lot of persons at that time. They were still kind of not sure if they should get involved with Facebook and what it really meant for them and the whole social media marketing. But through consultancy and getting to meet and talk to business owners, they started to really see how this tool and how digital marketing and social media marketing would become really relevant and beneficial for them.
Well, a lot of people are listening here tonight, and many or most of them are on Facebook.
Right.
But there's this thing that Facebook doesn't necessarily work. How do you convince people? Well, before we go as to how you convince them that Facebook is a viable social marketing medium, when did you realize that you've tapped into a treasure trove here? When did you realize that this thing really works?
It's really I realized from about 2009 2010 where initially as with everyone else I really got started in the whole online and Facebook thing through I used to keep put on events and I used it as a tool to get to meet persons, get to know persons and invite them to my events when I was keeping at that time. And just through using that tool and I saw the amount of persons that I could get in front of, how I could put my message and brand it to them that it would appeal to them and get them to come out, I really realized that, hey, this is just not a simple tool. This is more than the average thing that we are used to. And it's from there I really started, and this is one of the main things I look at Facebook as in regards to when I present to some business owners, I will say to them, hey, look at your target market. Where are they spending most of their time? Okay, you'll find that some of them are not into the online any at all. However, you'll find that if you still have a brand that you want younger persons to grow into, and a lot of times, even those younger persons, after a while, when they become young adults or full adults, they become the decision makers for the businesses, for the parents, and as such, this is the tool that they're using. So if they are using this tool and they are spending less time on traditional media such as reading the newspaper, such as watching TV, which those two things were the integral things that we used to use before for marketing and getting in front of persons. Now we're in a world where it's four screens. You have your cell phone, you have your tablet, and even if you're watching the TV or reading the newspaper, you still have those two tools that you're utilizing at the same time. So if your target market is online, that's where you need to be.
Ah, ah. I said this to either Todd or Tiffany. Tiffany, actually, is a
Okay.
question I love to ask entrepreneurs. Do you remember your first big client and your first paycheck? What that was like
Wow.
as a business person?
I think my first, I think I'm lucky and kind of blessed with my first big signing, because it's one of the big signing which even right now at this point the whole world is still watching and hearing about. One of my first big contracts was to do the social media management for Usain Bolt's Tracks and Records in Jamaica. And through that, trust me, just going through the negotiations and speaking to them and getting them to understand why it wouldn't be necessary to outsource their social media management, and then getting that contract signed and doing the work, it was totally incredible. And just to be able to work with such a big brand as Usain Bolt, the man himself, it was awesome. In regards to another thing that was great about it, in the year where we were managing the pages, it was one of the Olympic years.
Wow.
So we were in charge of getting all the hype and the marketing and everything surrounded around the restaurant at the same time to attract persons there while watching the Olympics. And even by the fact that Mr. Bolt himself even won medals right while there, and we're able to capture coverage and videos and such and share with persons, it was totally awesome. I
What
don't think something I'll ever
what
forget.
was it like? What was it like? All right, let me inject a little bit of a pun in here. What was
Okay,
it like for your fingernails just before that contract signed and after the contract signed?
trust me, right? But funny enough, I'm a person that in the height of the big moment, I pretty much try to stay calm. So I stay calm, I read, I ensure that everything is, all the I's are dotted and the T's crossed. After that, that's when after I'm eased down and I've signed the contract and really into it, that's when I really feel the rush to say, "Whoa, I'm really doing this." It was like, whoa, like you're really putting out information and posts that about Usain Bolt, that persons around the world are responding and messaging and want to find out more about the restaurant and when they can come in and all of the sorts. So trust me, it was really in the actual executing that it was really I got that excitement.
Why do you think they chose you, Adrian?
Well, I said at the time in 2011 to 2012, when we were doing the negotiations, it, as I said, we were the company Social Media Jamaica was one of the core companies that really focused on social media management in Jamaica. You had a lot of other persons or agencies that were doing social media management, but more of a thing on the side.
Oh,
However, we
okay.
settled down However, we settled down into understanding what persons were looking for and what the ROIs would be in regards to doing social media management for companies and brands and what they were looking for in return. And with that, we were able to present ourselves there to say, okay, we have the know how, we have the strategies, and we have the tools that we can apply to ensure that the brand not just only stays as it is, but is heightened in terms of increasing your fans, in terms of increasing the talk about the brand itself, as well as being able to be a part of what's happening in the life cycle of the social media and using the new tools and strategies to get in front of persons. So with that, it really helped us to be prominent and get that signing compared to another person that would approach them.
Hmm. Well, what do you say to young people who are ac- kind of on the edge of making a decision to become entrepreneurs, hesitant? What do you say to urge them along or encourage them to take that leap of faith? Yes, Adrian.
Yeah, I'm back.
So you had a what? A little power outage there just now.
Yeah, but we're back. I
You
get,
know, this
I
is
get,
this is this is the beauty of being Caribbean, right?
definitely.
We are able to adapt and adjust. Awesome.
Right.
Yes, I was asking you, what do you tell young people who are on the edge of deciding whether they should become entrepreneurs or not? What do you say to them to push them along?
One of the first things I look at them and say to them, Selwyn, is that whatever you do, the first thing that you should do is make it your passion. If you don't love what you do, you'll never be great at it and you'll never excel at it, much less to even become an entrepreneur at it. You must have some love or passion for it. And that's what will keep you going on and pushing through, even when you're not collecting those big contracts or signing as yet, and you're still pushing on and just getting these one businesses. But the first core thing to do is love what you do, and then have a vision, have a goal. What do you want to achieve from this business that you're doing? What do you want to achieve in the short term, in the next year? What do you want to achieve in the next 3 years? What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? And with these goals outlined on paper, that is, so you can stick to it, you are now better able to say, okay, let me put myself together and start to create and get this thing rolling, that at each interval I know what I'm achieving. And you have to be willing to be dedicated and determined to put in the hard work that is necessary for you to really be successful at this, because it takes a lot of hard work, and sometimes you'll be putting this hard work and you're like, whoa, whatever will become of this? Will it really be my goal? Will it really the dream company that I want to have? But I promise you, once you continue to be the best at what you do your necessary research, and put in that hard work and determination, you can reach that goal and be the entrepreneur you want to be.
Well spoken, well spoken. If you were to sit in front of me on this show 10 years from now, Adrian, what would you be telling me as part of your accomplishments and achievements?
Wow. And this is something that I think about sometimes, and it even nerves me, even myself, still, terms of getting to that place. But what I want to be is, I want to have a total digital agency within the Caribbean. And when I look at a total digital agency, I'm looking at a company that is offering digital marketing, is offering digital advertising across the Caribbean, and working for different brands, companies, individuals in the Caribbean as well as outside of the Caribbean as well. And with this, I see where this type of business will be able to not just at present point in what I do with my consultancy as Adrian Beedle consultancy, or Think Digital First, we see where a lot of persons are still interested in digital and they see it as a cool thing to do. However, in terms of setting aside that budget to invest in it for it to work, they're still kind of cautious about that, and they're still saying, okay, I'm gonna stick with the traditional media because I know at the end of the day that persons are out there. But at the end of the day, what we're saying and what I'm saying is, we know that persons still use traditional marketing, and we're not knocking it. We're saying to integrate digital, or as I would say, think digital first in whatever you're doing with in terms of promotion, your brand, and your company. And 10 years from now, I see a Caribbean whereby which we can be able to have a digital agency that is on top of and has the whole first world knowledge of what's happening in the digital marketing or digital advertising industries, and can be able to have multiple persons, whether it be persons working as the digital sales rep and going out there and speaking to persons, whether it be persons who are working on the fulfillment side, that okay, they don't want to meet the customer, but they know what to do and apply the different tactics to get the best out of the business. And I see a full-fledged agency that can offer all these leading technological solutions in digital advertising and marketing to get different from the small man to the large corporations, get their business and brand out there and leave a mark on the world.
When someone hears the name Adrian Beedle Consulting. What do you want them to come away with?
I want them to come away with something that one of the first things that we look do is that we look at your brand and company and what you want to achieve. We're not just here to just put forward a solution because hey, it's the coolest thing and it's the hottest thing out there that every other company is doing. But we look at saying, okay, at the end of the day, what are your core goals? What are you looking to achieve? What are your objective? Whether it is with this promotion, with this, with your company, what are you looking for a person to get out there? And from that, I look to say that okay, one of the core things we want to do is ensure that we are tying in line the right digital solution or digital advertising for your business that will make your objective successful. So what I want persons to come away with is that at the end of the day, we're not just about, hey, collecting that money and just putting it out there to say, hey, at the end of the day, 10 persons saw it. But we want to be that type of digital agency where we can apply the right sort of tool or strategy, digital strategy, to your objective in terms of your brand awareness, in terms of getting new
Wow.
customers, in terms
Wow.
of reaching customers. But at the end of the day, you're now able to see that return on investment at the end of, to see what was the benefit of all this for you.
Adrian, I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, I'm enthralled by what I'm hearing. All right. Was one of the most challenging projects you've had?
Hmm. Oh.
Without giving away names and so on for security reasons, but
No problem. I think one of the most challenging products I would say is I think it's one, and I can say the name. I work with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities,
uh-huh.
and now the objective of the company the council was to reach persons who are hearing impaired or maybe sight impaired to meet up and come into them to get registered to take advantage of different benefits that are available. So no, it's not. So the challenge in doing that, and we ended up overcoming it because the challenge in doing that is that you have to know how to, through social media, speak to these persons to get them involved, and at the same time being able to reach that type of person. And we had to sit down with a social media strategy to say, okay, how can we get in front of these persons and how can we better be able to help them to assist both the council as well as providing persons with the right sort of information that they could become registered. And at the end of the project, we were successful in increasing the amount of persons who logged on to the Council of Persons with Disabilities page in regards to getting out the right information to the different parishes in Jamaica that the council were visiting and persons could get registered, and even who couldn't get registered at the time, providing information to either themselves or their family members how they could still do the process. So even though that was one of the greatest challenge in just the way how we would communicate this message, at the end of the day, we were still able to overcome this and reach the right type of persons and assist persons at the end of the day. And I'm happy I could be able to work with that process in terms of working with persons with disabilities to help them.
Adrian, what do you really enjoy about what you do?
Huh. One of the things I really enjoy about what I do is just being able to think outside of the box.
Ah,
A lot of a lot of the times, and we may come upon persons that say, "Hey, I want to do this, and I want to do it in this way and that way," and we say, "Okay, that's great, and we can work and do that for you, but just give us the opportunity to just mull over some ideas and get back to you." And that opportunity now to see, okay, the customer or the brand wants to do this, but which tool, what way can we use to get this out to meet the right person that they want to reach, and at the same time can be able to show return on investment for it. And through that whole process of thinking outside of the box, doing that research to see, okay, what tool can work, and being able now to say, present the different unique benefits of doing it in the way that we're suggesting. And just the joy of that customer saying, wow, I didn't think about it that way. That's really one of the things that makes me happy and just enjoy what I do. Because a lot of the times persons will say, okay, I've read up and I know what it is. But when you're able to provide a solution to them that they really can see working more than how they actually even thought of, it's even greater, and it's a great experience when it actually is executed right and it works for them.
How do people find you?
Well, persons can find me right now. I use Instagram, and my Instagram is now, it's AJ Tumble, AJTUMBLE. So that's Instagram.com/AJTUMBLE. You can find me on LinkedIn as well on at Adrian Beedle. That's my full name, Adrian Beedle. Also, I'm still on Twitter as well. I still use the AJTUMBLE, and that's just a nickname I got while at University of the West Indies that I pretty much stick with, that a lot of persons know me as. So I use it in. But I still have, and there's my Facebook, Adrian Beedle, ADRANBEDLE, that persons can find me on as well.
Have you ever seen a project that you felt you couldn't do, you couldn't handle?
Mm, that's I wouldn't say I've seen what I've seen somewhere at first looking at it. I would say, whoa, this is mega. Like, whoa, how can you achieve it? But again, it's really in sitting back and say, okay, what is the person really looking to get out of this? And then putting forward a strategy that to say, okay, this is how we think we can achieve what we want for you. And the customer saying, okay, well, I like this strategy, but I would tinker with this. So that's one of the beauty in terms of with the digital marketing and advertising, that it's there are a lot of things there that it's not that okay, it can't.
Please be patient with us as we wait on Brother Adrian to reconnect. He's had a power outage. So he's just texted me to tell me that he will be back shortly. I really want to finish off this conversation with this young brother. He's an amazing. Oh, here he is. Yes, Brother Adrian. I was just telling the audience that we are waiting for you because of a power outage.
Right.
Yeah. So you were telling me.
Right. So I was saying it's just.
Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm still hearing the music. Go ahead.
Oh, the music. Oh, hold on. Is that
Okay.
better?
Right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Right. So I was saying, yeah, that's one of the beauties about working in digital advertising, because you're able. There are so many other different tools and strategies that are out there in the first world that we're able to communicate with and utilize to reach the target goal for the customers. And another benefit of it is that you have a lot of case studies and stuff that persons have done before. So we can just, it's just really the research into doing that to say, okay, which one of these tools now we can utilize in getting the best out of it for the customer.
And this is just fascinating to me. Um, Let me go to the chat room.
Right.
Nick Magdi said, "Tell Adrian that the revolution must be regional. We must spread all the wonderful things he can do professionally from Jamaica to Guyana and everywhere in the region."
That's
He
great.
said,
Great.
"We must infect and affect change."
Definitely.
Yes, yes. Uh, give us one digital branding concept that many of us who are not in the digital arena might be
Right.
surprised to know exists.
Okay. One of the things that I would say right now is leading in terms of the digital revolution now. It's really what they call online monitoring and social monitoring, really. And
Online
also,
what? I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Online
right,
what?
no, right. It's right. It's called social monitoring.
Oh, social monitoring.
monitoring, and there's another thing called custom audiences.
Mm.
So you have social monitoring, and this is really just being out there to say, okay, this show is out in the Caribbean, and you're doing the work weekly and such. Now, what social monitoring is now used to find out, one, what are persons saying about it? Where are you being mentioned? Are you being mentioned on Facebook only? Are you being mentioned on some blogs and articles? And even sourcing these that you can be able to reshare it on your own Facebook page or on through your blog or website. So it's really being able to track down everything that is being said about the business, the company, your business, your brand, and then now put it into perspective and reshare it with others. So
Wow.
that's the social modeling. And then now you have what they call custom audiences. And what custom audience is really a way of targeting digital advertisement to persons who are interested or are interested in related information to what you do. So for example, you want to reach more persons to get to interact and listening on your show.
Yes.
Now, custom audiences, you can be able to target, let's say, online advertisement for your show to persons who are generally interested in Caribbean blogs, who are generally interested in entrepreneurship, or just generally are news lovers. And just because of their interest or love for those things, you can be able to target your advertisement to reach in front of those persons to say, hey, if you're already reading up online, just generally about entrepreneurship in the Caribbean, here's my advertisement right beside that slot to say, hey, we have a show that does this every week and it's awesome. So, right, so, so right there and then, so when you can now get in touch with persons that you may not necessarily know that, okay, you know that may not know that specific person and their interests, but at the same time, just because of the things that they read up online and the things that they research online, you can put a branded advertisement out there to say,
Wow.
hey, there is a show that is able to, you can learn more about these things as well as staying in tune to continue to breed that mind of entrepreneurship and push on towards their goals.
You know, I have to thank Nicholas for introducing you to the show, brother. I mean,
No
I'm
problem.
sitting here and I'm hearing all this stuff and I'm like, wow. You know, this guy is such an encyclopedia of digital knowledge.
Thank you so
You
much.
know, amazing. You have a team of people that work with you, right?
Well, right now I have a couple other persons that work with me.
Hmm.
Pretty much there are some interns that I'm pretty much training to get to understand and know how to position social digital marketing in general. I'm really looking for persons. I have a couple of persons now, and I'm really looking to brand out further into getting persons who are not necessarily interested in going to meet with a customer or speak with them, but at the end of the day, they want to work in the background and execute these different strategies. So
Does that include persons from outside of Jamaica, like for instance, the Guyanese, Trinidadian, made? Oh,
definitely, that
okay.
includes the wider Caribbean. Because as I said, working towards that 10-year goal, I want to start getting into working with different small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses in the wider Caribbean, and just assist them in guiding their online strategy and just knowing how to take advantage of what is out there without being without even spending a massive budget, but just saying, okay, we could recommend that you use this sum of budget to use this form of targeting, and then we can look at it and how it works, and then implement another strategy going forward.
If I were to make this statement, tell me it to be accurate.
Sure,
Marketing and marketing right does bring result.
definitely.
And you're confident in the digital space.
I am confident in the digital space because we, again, it's really where everyone is going. I mentioned before where even you have like Google, who is doing a lot of work generally in connecting persons online in different mediums like You have now where you can just go on Google without going to a TripAdvisor or going to a hotels.com and just searching for a hotel. It's a 3-star hotel. You want to stay during this time, and right through Google, it's recommending you to say, hey, here are some hotels, here are some spots that you can check out while you're there or such. So I see where the digital arena and the whole digital marketing advertisement is continuing to grow. And as I said before, this is where persons are spending their time. You have a lot more persons with smartphones. You have the kids nowadays, the first device they're getting, even before their smartphone, is a tablet. So their introduction and how you're gonna reach these persons is it won't be like how you'd reach persons 5 to 10 years ago. You have to have a new strategy, and you have to know how to implement that strategy to get in front of them, because they are spending their times on other devices, and there are more devices that continue to come as the world continues to roll. So I see digital marketing and advertising having a strong role to play in the future.
Well said, man. What I'm hearing here, and I'm surmising, is that the playing field is being leveled a little, and you know people in the Caribbean, young people in the Caribbean, have just as good a chance as anybody in the more developed countries because of the digital space, to become players in this arena. Am I correct in that?
Definitely, Selwyn. As I said, anybody that's listening to your program, I really recommend to them that, hey, if you're still out there and not sure where you're going in terms of, okay, what you want to do in the future or such, just really go out there and do a research on jobs in really digital advertising or the digital world. Because you have from the first level of you could be a website developer, you could be somebody who just does the social media marketing. You could be a graphic designer, and somebody, you stay in whatever country you are, and somebody outside of even the Caribbean, you can able to advertise on such places as, for example, like a Fiverr, Fiverr, where persons can say, hey, I want this logo to do. And through that channel, you can say, okay, I'm a graphic designer. I can design that logo for you at such and such a cost. And from there, the person contacts you, you do the work, and you get paid for it. You have different persons who do what they call search engine optimization, which is pretty much after the web developer does the work and builds the site, the search engine optimization person works on the site daily to ensure that the ranking stays up there, as well as you could be able to do Google Ads. So there are many jobs and roles that are there in the digital marketing space that persons can look to. And with these jobs, you're not only accredited to work in your country, but even online, because the experience that you've gathered, the person that you can work with from right in your even your home, right there and then, applying that and putting that onto your resume, you're literally opening yourself to the global world and applying for jobs across the world.
But Adrian, I am definitely going to bring you back on this show, perhaps my other show at some time, because you man, you're an
Right.
oasis, I would say, of knowledge and information. And again, a shout out to our friend Nicholas McDavid. You've really, in spite of some of the challenges, the power outages and so on,
Yes.
you're a trooper. You're committed to the cause, my brother. I gotta ask you this question though, because when you talk to people who have not been born in the Caribbean, and even some, when they think of the Caribbean, they think of white sand, blue water. They think of beaches. They think
Right,
of cabanas and the different daiquiris and coconuts
right,
thing.
definitely.
But the Caribbean is much more than that. The Caribbean is an incubator of, as you can see from the people I've brought on the show so far, incubator of knowledge, of experience. The Caribbean has produced great minds, great
Definitely.
thinkers, and we want people outside of the Caribbean, even our own, to understand this, to recognize this, and to give our young people an opportunity to be better, an opportunity to
Definitely.
develop themselves. The region can only benefit from that, and when the region
True.
benefits, the world benefit from that.
True.
You know, I think that in the spirit of entrepreneurship, if there are bankers who are financial people who are listening, that our banks are not necessarily conducive, the models that they have today for really pushing entrepreneurship.
Right,
One of the things that are required or that is required is that entrepreneurs have to have some kind of experience, and that is a sort of a contradiction. It's an irony because how
right.
if you're now starting, how do you get experience? Which means I can never get a loan.
That is
So
true.
there has to be some kind of paradigm shift in the way you know financial institutions look at entrepreneurship because the youth have it, and it is important that we make this push. I was setting this up to give you a question thing, and I got carried away there for a moment, Adrian. But
No problem, man. No problem, Sam.
well, my brother, if you were to just give us a few words about the importance of entrepreneurship and encouraging young people, what would you say?
The, I would say the importance of entrepreneurship, it is one of the sure way to get persons from whatever level they're at, whether it is you're from humble beginnings, whether it is you're from lesser startups that you didn't have certain opportunities provided to you growing up to get started or get that push to start that business or getting to what you wanted. Entrepreneurship, definitely, just through reading, just through staying focused, just through having a vision and just through loving what you do, entrepreneurship can get you into a better position and not be able to only assist with development and let's say even enriching yourself, but even with your wider family, even the community, and even your country. Because that work that you do, it's funny how you realize that, hey, this just started from one small thing and I pushed through and I was able now to be able to be in a better financial situation and I can better able to help my family, my friends, I can better be able to help persons who like me started up didn't have a lot of opportunities. But just through that focus, I now can assist that person, whether it be through a scholarship or some level of training to help get them out there to say, hey, you can become an entrepreneur and you can now take this baton and carry on to other persons to just help in development of yourself, your family, your country, and even the wider Caribbean.
Amen, brother. I just want to go to the chat room. Nick said, Nick, big up Selwyn, the revolution must be televised. And Ralph said, really enjoyed this, brother. Yvonne, I glad I tuned in.
And
Adrian,
yeah,
I hate to let you go,
I
bro.
have to pick up Nick as well because again, Nick was one of the person who was there when we were at university who were even just initially saw a lot through me and even some opportunities presented from that time to say, hey Adrian, let's do this. Don't worry about it. Let's try that. So trust me, Nick Mack,
We,
my
we
friend.
need we need Nick in the revolution. Nick is one of those I call it fire starter. Or if we're
Yes.
back in the days of the cannon, he was the one that stoke the
Yeah,
cannon and push the cannonball down. So
right.
Nick is very important, man. He said again, Adrian, something like a true socialist. Oh man, Adrian, thank you, brother.
No
Thank you.
problem, so and I'm glad to get the opportunity to be able to speak and reach out to persons through your channel.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Yeah.
Good evening.
All right, then take care.